Hello, my dear audiences, my dear brothers, sisters, fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow, and in March, first time on politics. Well, politics stands for the beautiful flag behind me. That is our democracy, and it is the country, it is the land, well, that we enjoy the freedom of everything. Nobody else does by the same extent. Which means that every now and then, in this case, we're talking about 4 years, we're trying to pick up another one for president. That's the beauty of it. So, for the presidential election this year, and I would say it's never been this warm, this jubilant as a party. So, we're talking about it. And about 2.5 hours ago, there was a news release or a press conference held by Mitt Romney, the last candidate for, who failed, of course, for presidential election, Mitt Romney. So we want to start from that point with a comment of that press release with my wonderful guests. They're my friends, they're my icons, they are my backbones. Every time I have a crying baby, I bring to them. To my left-hand side, Mr. Alan Diamante, a wonderful attorney of immigration and also an advocate for immigration reform and many social issues that's important to us. Welcome, Alan, to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And to my right-hand side, Mr. Ken Hemming, a wonderful writer. And I would say he is one of the writers that I like most because I read a lot of books, but this is the one that I like is not only the book, but his concept behind the book. And I call him my philosophical kind of friend, Mr. Ken Hemming. Welcome him to the show.
Jack, I'm so happy to be back with you and Alan, and particularly your viewers. I've missed them all.
Thank you very much. Remember, this is the first show
Yes,
of
sir.
March. We're talking about politics.
Yes, sir.
And I want you guys to be politically right. Am I asking too much?
We will do our best.
Okay, very good. So now, all Americans heard across the land, the press conference of Mitt Romney attacking, or at least denouncing Trump. Trump. The whole nation is trumped up. So at this very moment, should we go ahead? What should we do? What are we doing? What are they doing? There are lots of questions popping up. So your comment, a general idea, impression about the conference, please?
Yes, I heard Mitt Romney, and I found what he said to be very interesting. He speaks for a faction of the GOP, I would say the traditional conservatives, so probably believe the same thing that he is saying. I also, as somebody who's more progressive, believe a lot of what he said is also an issue. So I can't say I agree entirely with what he said, but I can say that he said a lot of what's on the mind of a large percentage of the American people.
If I ask you this way, did he or has he done a good job from two perspectives? One perspective for the nation, one perspective for speaking his own mind.
Well, I'm not sure how much of it is actually his own mind or something that was prepared because there's great issues in the GOP at this stage. Who's going to be the next president? I think a lot of the Washington insiders in the GOP are very concerned about whether or not Trump will become president. He's been the front runner. He looks very strong, and you know, the hope I think for a lot of the insiders was Rubio.
Okay.
But Rubio doesn't look too good right now, and he might even lose Florida, his home state.
All right, let's pause on that. And the same question I would like to extend to my friend Cam. Do you think he did a good job to the perspective of getting the message to the nation, or to the perspective where he stands with the party, with the GOP party?
Well, as you know, my book is on a quality personal value system. And I think Mitt Romney displayed none of that today. When you start calling people phonies, frauds, and making really despicable comments about somebody, it troubles me as a human being. So I think I'm ashamed of him. Right now, like, I live for the Constitution. I've voted mostly Republican, but right now I would say I'm ashamed of the Republican establishment for doing nothing that they promised to do when 81 members were elected to Congress 2 years ago. And now their dirty tricks, their personal attacks, in little motor mouth Rubio now, I think it's very sad the way he's, because I liked him a lot. And now he's in a gutter.
He has done nothing.
And I think what happens today is it will help Trump, because the people, it solidifies their desire to have somebody that stands up to the establishments, whether in either party.
Okay.
So it hurt me to listen to it.
I'm asking Alan, you want to respond?
I just want to say that, you
Yeah.
know what? I think I agree with Ken.
Seldom the case.
But it's okay, we should.
I agree with Ken because I think it's embarrassing. I only could imagine what other countries viewing this believe. Rubio, I thought in the beginning, was going to, not, fall into what I could say Trump's tactics of degrading the other candidates. But recently, that's exactly what he did. Making fun of Trump's hair, his hands, and stuff like
That's
this.
not funny.
It was just, I think he degraded himself.
My second question, all right? I agree to both of you. I do agree to both of you. And of course, which is also the seldom case, very seldom the case. Now, my next question is that, of course, and in terms of election, you always want to differentiate yourself to the rest of your folks, of your contenders, right? Okay, now, to me, it is a moment under the democracy to say what I can, not a moment to say what you can't. This is number one.
Okay.
Number two, you purchase your own picture and let everybody do the same thing themselves. And it is not a moment to criticize anybody, to attack anybody. Now it's happening, or even macking, right, so far. My first question. My second question, you see these happen when they attack each other, or from two different parties. Like my left hand and right hand, they do this. Now they're doing it amongst themselves. That's my question. Why?
In the one party.
Why?
Well, I'd just like to remind my friend Alan, though, that Trump did not start the demeaning and things. He responded.
We are
but
asking
okay.
why this happens with the inside one party, GOP.
There's an obsession with the Republican establishment to maintain their control, to pick their candidate as you pick one out of a can of soup or something, and they're afraid of the reality that Donald Trump is attracting so many non-mainline Republicans in his camp. In Vermont, where 4 years ago there's 200,000 people voted in the primary, this year there was 800,000. That's pretty hard to comprehend. It's pretty spectacular, good or bad. Yeah.
You didn't come to my point. My point is that why should this happen within the same party?
Because the party is threatened by an outsider, and I'm an outsider on this, okay? Threatened by an outsider in I don't know if Ted Cruz is an outsider or not. He's in the Senate.
Obviously, go ahead.
Yeah,
obviously you're not answering my question to
well,
you.
I thought
Alan,
they're
why does this happen within the own party? That is my question. You see the nature of the question?
I do see the nature of the question. We are in the primary stage, and when you're in the primary stage, you attack the other candidates if you have to. Traditionally, you just focus on the issues, and then you let the electorate decide. But this has been a different election. We don't really discuss the issues that much. We might hit home.
I haven't heard any issue yet.
I have.
There have been issues, and they've been repeated. So, Rubio talks about what he stands for. Cruz talks about what he stands for. And then you have Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the outsider. We know that. And of course, you can see
Republican.
And then you can see the traditional Republicans are some somehow intimidated by this outsider coming in. So the attacks are unnecessary. I think even Mitt Romney referred it to as third-grade tactics or something to that
And
effect.
he did it himself.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
all right, thank you very much. Thank you both equally, and I really feel that this discussion is better than any of the last ones because we're really trying to stand in the middle of the road, right? My dear audience,
But if I may,
yeah,
the
or
Democrats
let's do-
haven't attacked.
Let's talk about Democrat when we come
Okay.
back. My dear audience, today with me are my wonderful two friends, Alan and Cam. We're talking about the election, the presidential election, starting with the comment on the Mitt Romney conferences. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. Probably we'll pick up from where we left, and we continue then on. So. Hello, my dear folks. Welcome back to the discussion about the presidential election, and we're talking about, namely, to start with a comment on Mitt Romney's conference this morning that happened. With me are my wonderful friends, Alan Diamante, immigration attorney, and also advocator for many social issues, and those issues are related very, very close to our day-to-day life. My right-hand side, Mr. Ken Hamming, a wonderful writer. One of his best book was at 100 Words to Live By.
Life is Simple.
Life is Simple. So a philosophical kind of friend, a Godfather kind of friend.
Thank you, Jack.
So even though you're not Christian yourself,
Who says that?
Take you biblical. Anyway, so to both of you, welcome.
Of course
back.
I am.
All right,
Thank you.
now let's get started. My question was focusing on one point, why this? I have no problem if this conference just now, 2.5 hours ago, was held by Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders on the left-hand side with the Democratic Party, okay? Even with name callings, right? So now I'm talking about the fact that within the same party as GOP, the glorious old party, right? Why would this happen? You guys never answered. So you, one word or two word, please.
Yeah, there's desperation. The GOP is suffering desperation at this stage.
Okay, now for 3 words. And you?
And they're shaming themselves.
Shaming
I am ashamed of that
Okay,
party.
Okay, now, another question on this level, though, I would like to talk about the party culture. As a party culture, has it been changed or has it been challenged or has it shown something inside?
Both.
Ken, please.
I think it's been challenged by an outsider that is making waves, and I think it is changing. It will be a slightly different party, broader, deeper in the future, even if Donald Trump is destroyed by the evil intent of the establishment.
Evil intent. Okay, now, you mentioned about the timing. So is it too late to stop the Trumpism? Because the Trump is everywhere. The whole nation is trumped up. So is it too late? Or still we're in good shape? Or they are in good shape?
Well, it could be too late, but it all really depends on Donald Trump. Yeah, he hasn't released his tax
he
returns.
responded already.
No, but I'm saying he hasn't released his tax returns yet.
Oh,
and
That has no value.
But the same thing goes for Hillary Clinton. That everybody's interested in knowing whether she's going to get indicted for something. So these are things yet to come. Right now, she's looking strong. Bernie is still in the race, and even Massachusetts, that technically he lost, but I think he got the same amount of delegates as she did.
Okay, very good. And because what happened this morning with the Mitt Romney conference was a time-sensitive issue, which attracted all of us to start with. Yes. And now it's time we get on to our list of questions.
Yes, sir.
Shall we please? Okay, my first question. Now that the talk of the town is that the Super Tuesday, which was 3 days ago, something, but most of our folks, to most of our folks, the true significance it holds in the Super Tuesday remains not exactly known. So for some basic, will you please bring in a very short sentences about the significance of the Super Tuesday, please? What does it decide?
Well, often in the past, after Super Tuesday, it was very apparent who the nominee would be. In this case, I think Trump got 274 electorate votes, give or take a couple there, and didn't get over 300. So there's still plenty of fight in the race. Okay, it's got to get to two people, though, to give the person other than Trump a more of a fighting chance, because if people are still splitting votes between Cruz and Rubio, that strengthens Trump's momentum and ability to get enough delegates. So and it's got to happen soon. I'm curious when Alan thinks it's going to get to be a two-man race. It's got to happen probably after March 15th is a guess.
Yes.
All right, Alan. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree in that respect. After March 15th, we'll know who the candidates are. And if we see what happened in Super Tuesday, traditionally, yes, I agree that we will know who the candidates are by that time, but not this time. If you were to gather all the delegates from all the other candidates aside from Trump, that would amount to more than what Trump has.
Exactly the question. Now with Hillary Clinton on the Democratic Party showing the forefront by way far, by 2 digits, way far, and also you have on the right-hand side with the GOP, with Donald Trump by way too far, I mean by 2 digits. So within the next 1 week or two, till the March 15th or even April 15th, could we expect any change or magic or dramatic change of the ratio of the numbers?
We do have to expect before March 15th, we're going to see a lot of activity by the GOP, desperation. So we heard Mitt Romney today. I'm curious to see what's going to follow.
Tonight's debate. There's a debate tonight, and Rubio's going to go postal tonight.
How do you expect?
Well, in what I
mean, about anything dramatic between now to March 15th.
Tonight will be dramatic because you have Cruz and Rubio, and particularly Rubio, saying outrageously nasty, unwarranted, undignified comments about Trump. If I was Donald Trump, I would just say, after he does that, I'd say, no comment. If you realize the strength of silence, the weapon, silence as a weapon, that's what Trump should do, no comment. And then it stops it. That's what I would do if I was him.
I believe you should be his advisor. I think,
you know, I do too.
I think looking at the pattern of Trump, he's incapable of not retorting. If someone attacks him, he has to attack tenfold. This is basically who Donald Trump is. And if that's not Donald Trump, he sure fooled me, because this is what he's revealed up to now.
But you're ignoring his press conference after this last Super Tuesday. It was very presidential, very dignified, and very complimentary of others that really attacked him. So he can do it. He's a very smart guy. We agree with that.
Yeah, to both of you and to my audience, I may owe you a little explanation that I myself is no Republican, neither am I a Democrat. I'm just somewhere in the middle of the road. I used to tilt to the Democratic side, but the past 8 years,
Then you met me.
I saw something because of Ken. All right, he wants to claim the credit. No, don't do that. Please.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't do that. And I'm trying to say the following. Of course, they all want to say they are good, others are bad. That's a politics. That's whole politics in a very simple language. But to see the name calling, to see these kind of a face slapping sometimes, right? Okay. And if you compare Romney and Trump, Mitt Romney and Donald Trump, they are different styles, right? Forget politics, forget partisanship, forget anything, forget even ideology. As a man to man, I would choose Romney style rather than Trump styles.
Well, that's
which seems to be childish, which seems to be unqualified, not that exactly qualified to be a chief commander of the United States, which is #1 nation of the entire global earth.
Maybe, and maybe not. But Romney, if he would have attacked the facts about Obama 4 years ago, he'd be president. He sat there with his mouth shut and sort of disappeared the last 3 or 4 weeks of the election cycle, and now he comes out with a nasty mouth, And we call people frauds and phonies and things like he's saying with no proof. It's just wanton noise from a vacuum. And you made a good point earlier, because I do think Romney's been fed what to say by the GOP establishment and Rubio. Now they said, no, Marco, you've got to come out and just try to annihilate the guy. And I think they're guided to that. And I think it's sad.
All right, thank you for that. A while ago, I saw the latest on the net saying that it was 4 years ago, Romney was on his knees begging Donald Trump to endorse him, which he did. Now a moment for him to attack him. So your comment, please?
Yeah, I found that very interesting. I don't think he was on his knees, but
quote unquote.
But you know, if you're running, you want to get endorsements and you want to get support, and especially people that have money that could, put some of that money towards your campaign. So that I don't see to be entirely unusual. Now, if he's going to vocalize his opinion of Donald Trump in light of what Donald Trump has revealed during this election, I think that he's entitled to give his response now, and he's entitled to change his mind about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, what Mitt Romney mentioned, he didn't approve the way he talked to Miss Kelly from Fox. He didn't approve the way he talked about Mexicans. He didn't approve on about many things.
That's just not true.
Well, that's what Mitt Romney said.
But let me tell you, I haven't been able to look at Megyn Kelly since her despicable question.
Mr. Alan Diamante, attorney at law for immigration on my left-hand side, and Ken Hemming, a writer, on my right-hand side. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. It looks that the heat is building up. With the discussion about what's happened this morning with the Mitt Romney news conference, we will try to see if we can predict something that's going to happen between now and March 15th. In the discussion, we have my good friend Alan Diamante, attorney at law for immigration and an advocate for lots of many social issues which are so related to our life. And my right-hand side, Mr. Ken Hemming, a wonderful writer and philosopher, I call him all the time. We are on the discussion. There is so far no agreement made on this whole issue. My last question was asking about to forget partisanship, to forget politics, forget election, and I ask you, who would you choose? Probably I should reshape the sentences to ask the same question again. If you were about to choose a teacher or mentor for your daughter, would you choose Mitt Romney or would you choose Donald Trump? You please.
Well,
you have a daughter and a granddaughter.
I have two granddaughters, but see, right now, I know what's being taught in the higher level universities in America, and it is not in support of the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence.
Cut to the point, please.
Okay.
Would you know,
I would rather have, I think Mitt Romney would be very boring. And I like somebody that's not boring. I like to be not boring myself. So I like a little vitality. I like a little creativity. So I would take Trump.
You have only two options.
Trump.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, you have only two options. Do not have to give me any explanations or any reason, whatever. Just say, well, Mitt Romney or Donald Trump. And you want to choose who?
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney. So, Trump and Romney, right? Okay, let's move ahead. We see lots of candidates fight amongst themselves. Well, do we see the same thing or similar or things by the same nature on the Democratic Party side?
No.
Now the numbers are relatively clearer than before, or has it been the same mess on this left-hand side Democratic Party? Please.
Well, traditionally, during the primary, you don't see these type of attacks. This might happen, closer to during the general election, closer to the final weeks.
All right.
But this is something that in my lifetime I haven't really seen too much of, where there's these, really severe attacks on the other parties.
You're fellow members of the same party,
Of the same
attacking
party,
each
yes.
other on the same job, right? Okay.
Yes.
Right. So there's none. Okay, now, to Cam, with the picture we're looking at, there is a little struggle, very little struggle between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, because the numbers are too big. The difference between the two numbers are too big, right?
Well,
it's too big. And then on the right-hand side, we see Donald Trump's number going so big, by way 2 more digits, something passing his even close runner-up, right? So can we say it's going to be a fight when it's down to a point that both parties has fixed their their selections, right? There's going to be a game between Hillary and Trump.
Number one, on the Democratic Party, Hillary has been deified already by the party. I never thought I would breathe during my life and see a socialist running for office in America. That makes me so weak. And I would say now I'm officially independent because I'm ashamed of what the Republicans are doing right now. So, and I think this
Very
thing...
sympathetic.
Yeah, I think that, they've offered a fellow that set up Hillary's server, in a bathroom somewhere, immunity to testify. And I think that her probability as being the candidate is shrinking by the hour. And it all depends on the Attorney General and the President, how they handle the situation.
I agree with you, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's
later.
Biden and Elizabeth Warren for the Democratic Party.
I'm talking about you're talking about the possible indictment. We'll talk about later, right?
Yes, sir.
And now, let me ask you, Alan.
Yes.
To Hillary Clinton, if it is only a game, only a run or a match between Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney, and Donald Trump, how do you read the picture? And by that I mean somebody has the comment, and it's a strong comment, saying that Donald Trump is paid by, jokingly, paid by Hillary Clinton to do her job, to help her, to support her. And what they are doing now with the GOP party is only helping Democrats.
I think that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that Donald Trump is doing all this because he's really a Clinton supporter. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Now, I just want to describe a phenomena that's occurring in the United States. Okay. We have a large class of people that just are not educated, okay? And it might be for a lot of reasons. It could be for social issues that cause this. So we have a large class of uneducated people. We also have, which is part of this class, people that want to get educated, but they're part of the 99%. They can't afford it. Then you got this other group of folks that are educated or are in college. Now, who is supporting who? Okay. Well, we could say that a lot of people are supporting Donald Trump. That
that's fact.
could be vets. Okay. A lot of the vets, didn't have the luxury of going to college because they went to, join the military. Then you have the NASCAR folks that a lot of them are not educated.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
So you got a lot of these folks that are supporting Donald Trump. And then over here you got the educated young class that I mentioned that are supporting Sanders. Why are they supporting Sanders? Because they're not content with the system. They want to change the system.
Trump and Sanders together?
In that respect.
In that respect, yeah, you're right.
Okay. In that respect. So Hillary,
I thought you confused the party line.
But Hillary and Donald Trump, I got to give them a lot of credit because they've been masterful in approaching what they're doing. For example, Donald Trump knew that he had in the beginning, that he had to get folks to support him. So he tried to get the vets. He tried to get the people that are very upset at illegal immigration. He also, went and got support from people in sports, NASCAR, and so forth to get those folks, and it's worked out for him. And then he revealed
more than that.
Then he revealed his moderate side.
That's true.
He criticized Bush. He also,
after being criticized by Bush,
he also revealed that he believed in some sort of health care, universal health care.
He is trying to characterize different groups. Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
now.
and that's exactly right.
With me today are my good friends, trustworthy friend, Mr. Alan Diamante, attorney at law for immigration, and also a very strong advocator for lots of important social issues. I support him because we need that many duplications of that type of fighters. Now, on my right-hand side, Mr. Ken Hanning, a wonderful writer, a thinker. I call him a think tank. Sometimes he thinks too much, only that's the problem. Hello, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the discussion, a very, very warm and heated discussion about the general election, which is happening now. We're talking about a day or two after Super Tuesday. We're talking about a few hours ago, Mitt Romney at the conference denouncing Donald Trump everywhere he can, and he even mentioned about the tax thing, mentioned about the bankruptcies or Trump universities or Trump vodka, stuff like that. And I had lots of questions to ask my friends, Alan Diamante and Ken Hamming, about the confusion, why this happens within one side amongst themselves. And they did make a lot of statements, and I believe points are made already. My last group of questions focusing on Hillary Clinton. I remember, Cam, this is asking you, you were saying to me a while ago that unless something happens to the two, Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney, Donald Trump, things would be the way they are. Right. So
I'm not sure.
You also mentioned about the possible indictment of Hillary Clinton. What is that, please?
Well, Hillary's has a lot of attributes that I'm not particularly positive feeling about. I'm tired of her calling white boys like me a racist, okay? But anyway, that's her right under the First Amendment. But with this email thing where she had a personal server doing all of her government work with top secret correspondence that was easily hackable, everybody expects it was hacked by the Chinese and by the Russians and know our intimate plans. To do that is just so senseless because the government provides a server, properly qualified, and she did that, and then just denies so much. And if they've offered the guy that helped her set it up immunity to testify, which I believe will happen, and I think there's a good chance Hillary won't be there and Trump won't be there.
About the procedures or to be necessary to happen, right? So. Your comment to...
Well, let the FBI investigate what they're going to investigate. We'll find out what's going to happen.
That's right.
I personally, at this stage, I think it's a non-issue. I agree with Bernie Sanders.
Wow.
Let's not waste our time with this. Where's the prejudice? In the law, somebody could do something wrong, but where's the prejudice? Okay. So if someone has the intent to steal, but they didn't steal anything, where's the prejudice?
The prejudice against America.
Well,
for being that loose.
Excuse me.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
This is the big issue here.
Right. Yes,
country over party. Country over party. This has been the problem with the United States.
You're asking country over party or party over country, right?
It should be country over party is what I'm saying.
Every time.
It's been a disaster in Congress. It's been a disaster of bipartisan politics. Things are not working out. We can't get the Congress to agree with the president. We can't get things passed. This is a big problem. And now we're talking about what's going to happen with the Supreme Court.
Technically, when the laws are concerned, or technically when the law procedure is concerned, for somebody somehow to create an indictment, to go through the process to the moment that she is indicted, do we have enough time? We're talking about April, May, June, July, August, September. We're talking about 7 months.
Yes, and just going through the process could be very damaging to her. So, if anything, she would benefit if this thing was resolved as fast as possible. But just going through this whole process,
depends which way.
Could hurt her. If it's going to help Bernie Sanders, I can't really tell you at this stage.
Okay, if she does get indicted, what would happen to the Democratic Party? To your take?
Well, here's what I think has happened. I think that the Attorney General will refuse to prosecute, and Obama would just pardon her. And that's what
I mean, candidate.
That's what I'm saying. Then she'd be a candidate with a very black cloud over her head, a very dark cloud over her head.
I know. If she fails to qualify, and
then I think Biden will be brought in. We're not going to have a socialist. We're not going to have a socialist president. So I think Biden would come in, and I think you'd agree with that, Ellen, probably, or somebody else. Well, I don't know.
He's begging you. He's begging you to agree with you.
No, I don't beg.
No, the process takes time, and whether she would be indicted, convicted, and pardoned during Obama's administration is very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
So but it is very unlikely she'll either be indicted.
Suppose it did happen. That's Plan B. Yeah. Do they, Democrats, have Plan B?
Well, yeah. At this stage, she has not been nominated, and we have Bernie Sanders in the race. So while he's in the race, he's the guy. If something happens to her.
Okay,
they certainly have a Plan B, however, though. And I think the thing, she'll either be indicted or let go, whatever that means, within a couple the FBI director just testified yesterday that they're getting very close.
Before it's too late, I have my last question that I picked from the list I prepared. I touched about 5% of. So my last question. Now with the passing away of Justice Scalia, there is two saying that President Obama should go ahead make his appointment, and the other side opposing it strongly, saying that no, let's wait. So, how do you weigh this situation, please?
The president
Justice Scalia, please.
The president has a duty. The Senate has the Judiciary Committee have a duty. They should do what they have to do. There's no reason to delay these things. And whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican, you shouldn't be delaying these things. You should be doing your job.
Well, certainly.
There is efforts.
Okay.
There is the efforts almost right away after the death of Scalia. There is a statement made, right? There is a statement made already that we are not going to approve it, whoever.
All I know
is that healthy?
No, that's not healthy. But it's not healthy that the president refuses to go to the funeral, also, which was a despicable decision.
No, you're all.
Well, it's a bad decision.
No, you're all shifting. I'm done.
Well,
for a Senate House leader, right, to say even before he sees
that was disrespectful to the death of Judge Scalia.
So,
and that was McConnell.
Your comment. That's your comment, anyway.
Yeah, you agree with that.
I don't have all the details as to why President Obama wasn't there. To say that he refused is a strong.
Well, he didn't show up. That's a refusal.
Focus on my question. My question is that why would the House of Senate say that they will never prove? They will not prove, even though there goes their nomination.
Well, I think I gave you the answer earlier. It's party over country.
Party
over country.
I don't think so. Well, what's at stake?
Was that healthy to the United States politics?
No.
That's not healthy.
It's the same of what we've been seeing for the last many years.
All right. And let me ask you again, without having information apart that President Obama was absent during the funeral, I am just asking you, is it right? You think it's right?
No. You've got to give proper time. You've got to have time for mourning. And you've got a passage of time.
No. You need the time to see exactly this person qualified. You don't need the time to decide.
No, I'm talking about Scalia.
I should say no anyway.
I'm talking about Scalia. They shouldn't have opened their mouth on anything hours after he's dead.
Again,
I
beg you, please, to follow my lead. My lead is that, do you think it's proper?
No, I said no.
To even say no, we will not approve.
I've been saying,
even before seeing any candidate.
I've been saying for 3 minutes it's improper, and stupid, and disrespectful.
Improper, and we get agreement, and I agree with you both that it's improper to do so. You
Disgusting.
may say, my take is that like this. You may say, okay, Ken Hemming is not qualified. I will not approve. That's okay. Or Alan, or Jack, whoever. You say here just to say, I will not approve anything. So
right, but nothing so shortly after his passing. You've got to let time go. You've got to let things.
You let yourself
that was disrespectful and foolish.
All right. Okay, my dear audience, today is one of the very, very important show that we sit here and we got a chance to discuss about our presidential election, which is so important. My appreciation goes to my friend, good friend, Alan Diamante, attorney at law of immigration of Los Angeles, and also he is a strong advocate for many social issues. Thank you very much. And also
Thank
my
you.
appreciation tends to Mr. Ken Hemming, my good friend for life.
My honor to be here.
I love to say that. And he's a writer, he's a philosopher, he's everything, except that just now he said he disagreed with me on some issue. But
No,
it's
not
okay.
really.
It's okay. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of democracy, all right? So,
Thank you, Jack.
ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Yep.
And we'll be back next time.